All right, Jelani, so welcome to the new week here. You got to practice under your belt now in advance of Baylor. I mean, what's kind of the vibe of the team? How was practice today? What are you seeing out there?
Practice is really well. The best thing about today is everybody came in with good spirits of just being ready to work, ready to get better. And at this point, that's what you need right now. And just keep everything positive and looking forward into a new opponent, studying them, and getting going again.
What's important to you personally this week?
Uh, I would say just getting better is run blocking, getting better is pass blocking, just the mental part of the game, learning more, just studying the defense more. Just try to elevate my game in any type of way.
All right, very good. Well, members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State Cowboy back Jelani Woods, please click raise hand, and we will try and get to everybody. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Jelani, how are you?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm okay. Hey, wanted to ask you. You mentioned the pass block, run block that you're focusing on, and we've seen you and some of the other tight ends to Cowboy backs out there, you guys in multiple sets. Talk a little bit about that change and how that's worked and how you've seen it work over the last few games.
I would just say us as a Cowboy back, just being put in those spots help the offense and, developing plays, just putting us in multiple formations could help, kind of limit the things that defenses do and which will give the offense as advantages. So we just took it as a positive thing and tried to run with it for right now and try to find different ways to get in different positions so we can capitalize on it.
That offensive line that you guys are playing alongside, they've had so many changes this year. The last two games, though, they've been whole and uninjured. How have you seen that evolve? I mean, you're playing alongside him. I'm sure you're seeing him in film study too. What does that look like now compared to even a couple weeks ago?
It's pretty much, I would say, the same. It's just we got better each week, I would say. Everything is just so conceptual that if you just work hard at something, then you'll eventually get better. And that's pretty much the case right now. In practice, we just got better at what we was doing, and it tended to be very positive for us right now.
Do you feel like what you guys are able to do blocking, whether pass or run blocking as a unit, you guys in the Cowboy backs and the offensive line, that's really, do you feel like that's key to what you guys do offensively overall in this game on Saturday?
Yes, ma'am. I feel like it just puts us in a really good spot of, assuring and helping out with anything we have to do, just helping out with the O-line or helping out with the quarterback or any type of thing like that. I feel like it just brings an extra security blanket to it, which typically what the coaches want.
Thanks, Jelani.
No, thank you.
Our next question is going to come from Ryan Breeden from the Ocali. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, Jelani, it obviously goes without saying that when someone like Tylen is out of the game with an injury or whatever it may be, things are a little bit different for you guys. But to get a little bit specific in your case, how do things change for you when he's not on the field?
It really doesn't change that much because, as offense, we have many playmakers and we have many people that can just step up. So we just try to continue doing what we're doing, especially hoping that he's all right at the end of the day. But we just try to continue what we're doing and fight for the rest of the game or whichever thing we're doing.
And Coach Gundy mentioned yesterday when I asked him something somewhat similar, he said the big way that things change is when in a situation where Tylen may be double covered, and then if he comes out of the game, that's an extra defender that maybe the defense has an ability to put in the box, something like that. Is that something, or just having an extra guy that could be blitzing?
Yes, that pretty much, is true. But like you said, doing that kind of helps having somebody else probably be open. 9 times out of 10, somebody else probably be open. So it does help. It kind of does help if he is double, and then if he's out of the game, then somebody coming in the box or whatever. It just genuinely makes somebody else open because it stops the running game. So the passing game probably be more open at that time. So it goes both ways.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Jelani, when you're blocking, sometimes you're going against a really big guy, and sometimes you're going against a small guy. What are the challenges that those two things pose for you?
For me, it's just being versatile. It's just trying to, during the week, study each person's habits, because that typically helps with what to look for and what person has this habit or what person has that habit, and that typically just helps me blocking D lineman. If he's a top heavy guy, that helps me get a better leverage on him, or just a skilled guy that's wiggly. Just watching him on film, how he move, how he do this, typically helps me and how I should approach him during the game or anything like that.
The other day, you had a big play in the passing game. We haven't talked to you since then, so could you kind of take us through that play? And you showed a little shake on that play.
Yes, sir. It was just a typical check down route. I kind of had to chip the end, but TCU does a good job bringing blitz from the field, so the DN kind of fell off, and he was holding me at first, and I was able to get my way off of him and check down. And I previously seen the coverage because of the timeout, so I knew they was going to drop off, and I figured I was probably going to get the ball. And as soon as I caught it, I just seen open field, and I just tried to make a play for the team.
All right, good stuff, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Jelani, the way you put your foot in the ground and made the cut on that play, my leg was like, whoa, that's a lot going and changing direction quick, you know?
Yes, sir. Everybody kept saying that, but the thing is, the way my legs are built, it's easy for me to do that. But it might look like I hyperextended my legs, but that's the way my legs are built. So everybody was making fun of me about it. But I was told them that's how I always, growing up, how I always been.
It was an effective change of direction.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, our next question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Jelani, I know goals have shifted a bit, in terms of the Big 12 championship.
Mm-hmm.
When looking at your young guys, what do you say to them, to get them through these next two games, knowing, we want to end this year on a high note still?
I would pretty much say it's not necessarily about saying anything. It's showing body language and your emotions and how you approach the days after that. Like today, everybody had a high spirit. Everybody was ready to fight. Well, veterans, as a standpoint, everybody was ready to fight, keep moving. We were studying film. We was talking, game playing, doing what we have to do to be successful for these next two games. So I would say it's not really more than just saying anything. It's just your body language, how you carry yourself right now.
So how do you feel like the young guys responded to the attitude that the veterans had?
I feel like they did really good. Today, we had a lot of energy in practice, a lot. Like during inside run, defense gave it to us. We gave it to the defense. And I'm happy that it was like that, because now it's bringing more competitiveness out of it, especially at this later in the season when more teams typically trying to be like, I don't want to do this, or try to stay injury-free or anything like that. So I feel like we did really good at just bringing high energy, and the young guys brought high energy too as well.
Appreciate you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, our final question is going to come from Dean Rule from the O'Colly. Go ahead, Dean.
Hey, Jelani, thanks for taking the time.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
How would you describe the adversity you guys have faced when it on the injury side of things this year?
I'd say it's unfortunate, but as in football, it happens. So you have to try to move on and just find a positive out of it.
Have you been able to find a positive out of it?
Yeah, I feel like we have. I feel like, especially since I'm on the offensive side of the ball, as the O-line switching around, I feel like we found things that we didn't know people could do, like Josh being able to move around and stuff like that. I feel like that helped them a lot, and I feel like as an offense, we as my group standpoint, that we've been put into a great position of helping the offense, which I value that the most, because it makes you seems like you're very important to the team and we need you. So we just try to do anything to help the team pretty much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
Jelani, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us here for a little bit. We appreciate you as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Take care. Preston, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good, doing well, thanks. Before we get going with questions from the media, I've got one for you.
All right.
So this year on the offensive line is, it is what it is. It's been a lot of kind of musical chairs, not a whole lot of continuity. It's hard to really kind of get settled, but at the same time, it's created opportunities for people. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that side of how the continuity has affected, or the lack of continuity has affected, and the opportunities it's created?
Well, we started out the year, and it's just been a crazy year in general, having to deal with coronavirus for sure, and then having to deal with injuries. So everything, you got to be ready for anything, and that's really what Coach told us at the beginning of the season. Everybody's got to be ready. And when things happen, we just had that next man up mentality, get your butt in there and be ready to play. You got to know your stuff, and really everybody had to learn and study different positions and play things that they weren't used to in order to get the job done. So everybody's done a really great job at just having that next man up mentality and being ready for whatever the season has for us.
What's it been like for you personally?
Man, it's been crazy because I started out, I really started out the season running with the 3s and subbing in with the 2s, and then now I'm going with the 1s, just like, I've always had to have that mentality, just be ready. Your time could happen at any point. It can happen tomorrow, or it can happen into the season. It could happen next year. It could happen whenever. So I just had to be ready at all times, just like everyone else. Josh just had to move out to tackle, and Spring had to step up at the beginning of the season and play the other tackle, just things that we didn't expect. But everybody's done a great job at just stepping in and playing their role and finding their position.
One thing you can't fake in this world is confidence. You have to earn confidence, right? What do you feel like has this, getting put ahead of schedule this year, maybe a little faster than you intended? What kind of effect is this having on your confidence moving forward?
Are you talking about
talking about you personally. Yeah, I'm talking about you personally, like you getting in there and becoming kind of a leader a little bit on the offensive line even. You're out there going.
Oh, just playing for a coach like Coach Dickey. Coach Dickey, he helps me a ton and gets me ready to play. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do it. Without, being able to look up to the older guys, when Tevin was here and then Josh is here, Rye's here, Woody, all the guys, Spring, everybody's holding me accountable. Even if we're the same age or not, everybody's holding each other accountable and trying to, hold each other to a higher standard. That's kind of what we live by, is everybody, hold each other to a higher standard. Don't be satisfied with being average, be great, strive to be the best. And, it's been awesome to learn from Josh. Josh has been a big impact on me, and being able to help me, my first start versus Kansas State, it was the whole week. Josh was taking me aside after every single drill and every single rep. Hey, you do this, take this step. Hey, cut them off like this, have your hand like this. This is how you do it. Kind of just took me under his wing and said, hey, follow me. I've done this before. Let me show you how it's done. So having those guys around has helped me tremendously, especially, Tevin and Rye too as well, being able to learn from them. It's been awesome.
I feel like a lot of folks have gotten some real insight about Josh Sills over the year, and that, the documentary has actually kind of played a factor in that, I think, And so, it's everything that you're saying is everything that people have been seeing, and like all the dots connect that he's a leader, really. So that's
no doubt, none of that stuff's fake. Josh is a real guy. He's a real leader. And I think a lot of people on this team look up to him, and he's done a lot of great things for this team, and I'm definitely glad he's came here. He's done a lot for us.
Well, very good. Members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State offensive lineman Preston Wilson, please click raise hand and we'll try and get to you. Our first question is going to come from Jenny Carlson from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Preston, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I was actually just flipping through your bio. You have a birthday this week.
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You get to travel to Morgantown on your birthday. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, so this offensive line, 2 weeks ago was the first time this group was together with this alignment. You guys get through that game last week. Now you're into week 3 with you guys all out there together. Do you notice things even in that short amount of time that improve from, say 10 days ago to where you are now as a unit?
No doubt, just playing with each other every day, having one more day of practice with each other helps every time because of communication and just being able to work with somebody. So you kind of build a little bond and understand how each other's, like, how one person plays and they understand how you play and how you can compromise and make it for the greater good of the team. Being able to communicate back and forth with the center, being able to help and make calls out at the, with the tackle. You can understand each other better and you can kind of bounce off each other and help each other. So obviously being able to have more practices definitely helps us.
Did you, over the course of this last, however long this is, the last couple weeks here of being all together, was there a stretch where you really saw that the offensive line group take a big step forward as a group during that time?
I definitely think the Texas Tech week, we kind of bonded together and definitely made some strides as a whole, as a unit. And it clearly showed in the game. We had over 300 yards rushing, and Dez had 3 touchdowns and could have had a 4th, but, took that slide, and so we could end it and go into victory formation. So I definitely saw a lot of improvements as a whole unit. And I think we kind of just bonded together and kind of like realized how each other play, how we can play together as a unit. So it was great to do that.
Everybody, like you say, everybody saw that day against Tech with the big rushing totals. It maybe wasn't as obvious from Saturday at TCU because there were some struggles to move the ball. But when you guys went back and watched film, what did Coach Dickey have to say? How did you guys feel like you played at TCU, even if the points maybe weren't there?
We definitely have things to improve on as a unit, but there was also a lot of great things done. There's definitely some certain techniques that we've done great on, but there's also things we need to improve on, just like every game. Maybe some people see it as a perfect game. We put up a lot of points, but we see it as, yeah, we won, but we need to make improvements. Then we also might have a game where we might lose, but we did a lot of great things. And, with TCU, I think we did a lot of great things, but we came up a little short. So we do have a few improvements to make that will, Coach Dickey's getting corrected. And we'll definitely have it fixed, and we'll be able to move on from here.
Thanks, Preston.
No problem.
Our next question comes from Chris Becker from the Ocali. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Preston, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you talked about Rye earlier a little bit. What have you seen from him this season? He's one of the only consistent bodies on the field that's been on the offensive line the entire season.
Man, Rye's a tough dude. He dealt with some corona stuff at the beginning of the season. He was really hard to breathe for him. And, he came back and he just fought the whole way through, and he's decided he's going to step up from the beginning of the season, and that's his spot. And he's not going to leave. Rye's a very tough guy, and I look up to Rye because of that. He's all for the team, and he wants to win. He wants to go out on his last season with 2 more wins.
Thanks, Preston.
Yeah, no problem.
Our next question comes from Scott Wright from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Scott.
Preston, you talked about having to be prepared to play multiple positions. What were the positions that you were mostly focused on early in the year when you were still running with the 3s, and how did your focus change as you worked your way up the depth chart?
Well, actually, fun fact there, in practice, I've actually played every single position on the line in team reps. So it was kind of like, at first, at the beginning of the season, last year, I played center. I was a center last year. And then towards the beginning of the season this year, coach was like, hey, we're going to put you at guard. And then throughout the middle of the season, it would say back to center. And then people were going down, hey, guard, hey, right guard, hey, go left guard. So it's just really been back and forth, and I'm all for that. I want to be versatile. I want to be able to help the team in any way possible. And that's kind of been my thing, is like, wherever the team needs me and whatever the team needs, that's what I feel like I can do and step up. And that's what I want to do. I want to be a team guy. I'm for the team. So whatever coach needs me to do, that's what I'm going to be able to do and be able to help out.
Now that you're focused on one spot and getting game reps and game film to watch on yourself, how fast has the learning curve sped up?
It's definitely been a lot faster being able to focus on one position instead of having to go center, right guard, and left guard. But you know what? It's really whatever coach needs. but it's been great to be able to like just focus on one. But then also, you know, when you go to the other position, all you got to do is reverse it. But every day I'm still taking notes for, you know, left guard, right guard, and center, is it just in case.
How's the attitude been from the team this week?
Everybody's had a positive attitude. You know, we put that behind us. You know, what happened last week, that's behind us. It's a new week, and we're ready for this week. You know, you take it one game at a time. And so we're focused on Baylor this week, and we're ready to have a great week. Everybody had a positive attitude today at practice. Everybody's fired up and ready to go. And we're ready for another great day tomorrow.
Good stuff. Thanks, man.
No problem.
And our final question is going to come from Frank Bonner from the Tulsa World. Go ahead, Frank.
Hey, Preston, you kind of touched on it, you know, with the young guys being thrown in the fire, playing different positions. You know, 2-3 years from now, when you guys are the veterans of the team, how much will this season help in that growth when you guys are veterans and trying to bring along the other young guys that are in your position now?
Well, it'll definitely help a lot because, you know, right now we're following the leader so we can later lead the follower. Right now we're looking up to guys, you know, like Tevin and Rye and Josh, and we're kind of learning what it is to be a leader and how we should do it, how we should treat the guys when it's our turn, you know, being those older guys and those vets, how we should treat them, how we should, you know, take them under our wing, kind of like they've done to us. So it's been great to learn from those guys.
And then with you changing positions, if you ever get into a situation, you know, next year or the year after or so on, where you guys have to shuffle again, how much will this year allow you to do that, you know, being comfortable in doing that?
Well, it definitely helps a lot. You know, it's helped a lot being able to do all that in practice, you know, being able to flip around and play all of them and get reps at all of them because, you know, that's always been like, what if something happens and, hey, you got to go to guard or, hey, you got to go to center. That's why I've been taking notes for all positions, just like everyone else has. You know, people have flipped up through the season and played different positions and been just fine. So I have no doubt that everybody on the team can do that. You know, everybody's versatile and has had to do it all season. I'm not the only one. There's definitely been a ton of people that have had to flip, and they've done just fine. So I feel like this season, being able to do that in practice has helped everyone.
I appreciate you.
No problem.
Preston, it has been an absolute joy having you with us here. Do it for all the questions, but is there anything maybe that you want to add? Is anything that's important that maybe we missed that you feel would be good for people to be writing about or talking about this week?
Yeah, man. Hey, just a huge shout out to my coach, my offensive line coach, Coach Dickey. You know, without him, none of this would have been possible. He's a great coach, and I'm very thankful to be playing for him, and all glory to God.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, it's been a pleasure having you here.
Hey, thank you very much. Y'all have a good day.
Take care. Have a great night.
You too.
Thanks. Likewise, members of the media, thank you as well.